Okay, this is the second video for my YouTube channel. Just to show you, I've changed this up just slightly, just put the Anno games in that I wanted to look at, maybe Command & Conquer Red Alert 3. I'm using this video editing recording program. Hopefully it'll be better than the OBS system. The image came out very blurry. I'm hoping this image will be a lot better. Just showing that I've just finished installing Stellaris latest updates, and we'll just start the game and see how we go with that for the second video. I've got no mods active. I've got all the download content active. Then you've just got the news, and we'll just play and see what happens. Okay, it's taking its time. Okay. I think the beginning art hasn't changed. Pretty sure it's the same artwork from before. Okay, Stellaris has changed quite dramatically, yada yada yada. Oh, it's raining outside. Okay, so it's pretty much telling us how a few of the changes that were made. I won't want to see that again because we'll just figure it out as we play. The whole point of this was like people starting out for the first time playing a new game that they haven't played before. I haven't played the game much lately, and with the new updates and some of the older updates I haven't played with, this is pretty much be a brand new game for me as well. So we'll start a new game. As you can see, I've created a few random test runs. I'm not very creative with names, so everything's Triple Z Spina, which is my name. Spina is my surname. And yeah, so we'll just start with United Nations of Earth and just basically start that. Select galaxy size 1000, Clipsal, ring. Let's start for Clipsal. AI empires. Let's go all the way. Don't want to have too many advanced. I like to have a lot of fallen. Marauders, I think, very strong in this now. They've been updated. The pirates have been upgraded to marauders, and they can actually start their own star empire, from what I've heard. We'll just have that as standard. Habitable worlds I like to have a lot of. Primitive civilizations I like to have a lot of. Crisis strength, we won't mess with that. Mid game start year, I'm not sure what that is. End game start year, not sure what that is. Aggressive, difficulty normal, random. Advanced neighbors off. Oh, okay, this will determine how many stars are connected. So I think with less we got more choke points, so we'll just leave it low. Abandoned gateways. They're like wormholes, I believe, but they're only a one-way trip, and you have got to rebuild and reactivate them, whereas wormholes are just a standard thing that stay there. The more wormholes, the more back doors the enemy can come through, so I'd say we just leave it as one instead of having enemies come out everywhere. We'll just turn the achievements back on again. We'll play a game and see where we go for the next few minutes. Hopefully this is recording. There's more of a test that run for the new video program that I'm using than anything else. So let's begin. This is basically just a rundown of where humanity has come from, where it is now. We'll just begin that. Research. This is your energy research, laser weapons, energy storage and all that sort of thing. For your ships, your fusion reactor, power plant. I want to get this early because the earlier you can build up your resources, which are energy, minerals, and food, the faster your whole planet will grow. Normally I'd leave these to later just because the star bases used to have a hydroponics bay, which I believe has now been deleted, so farming will have to be a very early technology to research. This probably won't be necessary until later on in the game when you've got a few star bases going, so we can actually put the fighting off and the energy trading off to later, and the farms will be good early on. So that's your food and population growth technology here. And then you've got your mineral and armor and rocket sort of technologies. Again, not really necessary early on in the game, so we'll just go for engineering facility, which will just help us get more minerals early on. Now we got 70 months, 82 months, 62 months. As we build more structures, we can bring this down. So instead of being 62 months, it might only be like 40. Instead of 80, it'll be built closer to 60, and so forth, depending on what technologies we can get resource buildings on. So this one here, engineering resource, is this one here, and what that will do is it will give us 2 extra points, and if we get a few extra points here, like 7, that's an extra 25% at least, which will drop this down by 25% research time. So the earlier we can build this research center, the earlier we can get more research going. The problem is that every mining station you create, so anything that mines resources for minerals and technology, will cost energy. So what you've really got to do is keep your energy high so that you can build your resources. But to build your energy resources and your food resources and your technology resources, you need minerals. So what you really need to do is keep your minerals and energy somewhat level at the beginning of the game. Keep them high. You want about 10. That gives you about 120 per year. At the end of the month, you get a resettlement of your accounts. They just update to plus 12, but by the end of the month, if you've already built, like this one here would be plus, it's already built, be another 3, be plus 15. But to build to build certain things like ships, it costs minerals to maintain and energy to maintain. So really, energy and minerals are very important to make sure that your entire empire runs. If your energy runs down to minus levels and then goes down to 0, then nothing's powering your mineral resources. So some of your minerals will actually drop out. So if you go to minus energy, you'll go to minus minerals. And if you go to minus minerals, your fleet will not be 100% because the mineral upkeep will not be there. So you really, really, really have to make sure that these two are very high or maintained at a very good level. And also food. Without any excess food coming in, your population will starve, and therefore your population won't grow. I don't believe you lose population. They might migrate to another settlement, but I don't know what happens overall with this new layout. So we've got our technology going. Let's have a look at our construction ship. Like I said, you want to keep the energy and minerals high. Now we know we've got one good minerals resource here that we can build, 90. With updates you can take this down a bit. I think it's not much, only like 20% or something, so it might come down to like 75. But again, they might have changed this with the update. So we'll build that. We'll go to this little symbol here, which takes us to the galaxy view. And as you can see, even with low level connections, there's quite a few. So if we can get a choke point in here, they can't cross over until they get their next level of transwarp or faster than light travel. There are 3 levels plus the warp gates and wormhole. So if I can build here and block this off, I can block anyone from coming over, and then once I've got this blocked off, I can build clockwise. The only problem is if there's a really close empire, and I've got a 15 or plus empires going, they can actually block me off, and I'll be kind of blocked here by anyone who's blocking this chokehold. And then I'll pretty much have a small empire which could be taken over pretty quick. Okay, so with our science vessel, we want to research all the surrounding star systems. So what you do, if you want to just leave your science ship to continue doing for a while, is you hold the shift button, right click and explore system or survey system. Okay, they've got 2 different things here now. I want to survey the system, survey, and I'll just keep right clicking and surveying, and I'll just go around in a big circle, and that way if there are any planets nearby that I can colonize, I will try to do that. The thing is, you don't want to colonize too closely. If you've got a planet right here and right here, you're more likely to colonize this one here, just because colonization takes a very long time, and by the time you've colonized this and then you go to this third planet, whoever's over here might have colonized it. But if you colonize this here, because your influence kind of drags itself towards each other, you'll sometimes get an egg shape that joins, and with them being here and here, the join might just get that planetary system, so you might actually be able to get that planet system anyway. And even though you haven't got a planet, a settlement on it, you own that system and you can mine the resources from there. Okay, so first fleet is basically the starting off military you have. Normally it's 3 ships, yep, 3 corvettes. And what you want to do is you want to build 6 or 7. You want to have 6 or 7 in total at the beginning of the game, because once the pirates start to spawn early on, again, it might have changed in this game, they've got about 6 or 7 corvettes at the same level of your technology. So what you want to do is get 6 or 7 corvettes. When that pirate spawn happens, you want to upgrade your ships as soon as possible and then send them out, because you'll have to take out the pirate ships and then the pirate space station. But the longer you take, the higher damage resistance they'll have and the higher weapon damage they will give. So you really want to have your military fleets at a decent level of number and damage. Your armor should be alright early on in the game with the first pirate encounter, but once that first pirate encounter happens, you're going to start meeting up with other planetary universal powers, and their military is going to be equal to yours. So what you want to try to do is keep it low so that they don't attack you for being overpowering, but keep it at a medium level so that if they do attack you for whatever other reason, you do have a sizable fleet. But you can't keep it too small, because they'll find you weak in attack sometimes, and if you have it too big, they'll find that you're a threat and they'll attack you. So it's a pretty good thing to just keep this balanced and low. Your fleet power is 3 of 20, so you got 3 ships, you can build 20 all up. I believe larger ships are like 2 points, so you can only have 10 larger ships and then 3 points for the next one. And again, I haven't played it for a long time, and I'm not entirely sure of the math behind the way they've worked it out. You've got 1 planet of 3, so you can colonize another 2 planets before you start to get what would be called a negative impact on your social structure. So if you have 4 planets and you can only control 3, well, then you're going to lose a lot of things in the background. So your energy, your minerals, food, everything, even your influence and Unity. I don't know if the Unity is affected, but I know the influence was last game. But everything seems to just drop a percentage. And because you're keeping it low at the beginning of the game, by the time you get to 3 planets, you should have a pretty decent income coming in. But yeah, if you get to 4 planets and it drops, you're more than likely going to lose 14 or 15 here and here, and then they're going to go negative, and you're going to lose a lot. So you really have to keep an eye on this. Now you can make sectors. You got 2 sectors available, so you can have 2 sectors of 3 planets each. And when you have a sector created, you don't control that sector. You've got a governor, or you don't even have to have a governor, but governors give bonuses. So when you have that second sector started, it will just work on its own. So when you create a sector, we'll get more into that when I've got a second planet going, so because it's hard to explain without all the tabs there to show you. Okay, so star-based capacity, I believe that's this thing here. I've got a capacity of 3 starbase. So this is 1 of 3. So again, it pretty much works on the planets, I guess. The more planets you have, the more starbase capacity you can have. The more planets you have, the more fleet you can have. So for 1 planet, we've got 20 fleet, but this is your home planet. So I'm guessing with the second planet, you might get 25 or 30. so on and so forth. We'll go through all these tabs later on. I think for the first video of actually starting up the game, before we actually get into playing the first round, it's pretty good setup. So we'll just check this one last thing. So we can build a colony ship for 300. Well, that's dropped quite a bit. They used to be about 500. So they've actually dropped the... oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Science ship, I think these used to be 150, 250. So they've actually dropped the price of everything, really. But, you know, this is the first day of the release. I'm sure over the next couple of days, weeks and months, they'll nerf some things and increase some others and make it more balanced. Okay, armies. There are two types of armies. There are defending armies, which are on your planet. So if your planet is attacked, you've got defending armies that will ward off, fight off the enemy. But you can also embark them, which sends them up into a ship, into your orbit. And these are the armies you would send to another planet. And again, they'll have their own army set there. So when you come down, they'll have a defending army. So it's good to leave this to later, because every military you own has a maintenance. Okay, it doesn't actually say what the maintenance is. Maybe it's up here. Upkeep of 1 energy. So if I were to build 8 army units right now, I'd have a 0 energy. So I want to leave that to later as possible. So when you probably, as soon as you start getting a negative influence from an enemy enemy empire, you want to start building these up just to defend your own land, as well as send to their planets to conquer. Okay. Surface. Okay, that's pretty good. I can actually clear these land blockers. So land blockers are pretty much old derelict, what you'd call old derelict cities that need to be knocked down before you can rebuild. So what you want to do is you want, again, mineral, energy, and food. But here for me, I'd probably stick with, at this moment I've got +3 food. I've got 2 extra building plots. So the next thing I would do here is build a food. That will give me another 1. So that will be basically the next person to grow in will go there to get the food. And then I can empty 2 of these out and get, again, another 2 food. And that will give me 1, 2, 3. And then these 2 will be 1, 2. And that should be enough food for now for the beginning of the game, because I'm not going to clear all of these out. I only clear a few out. So I'd probably clear the energy and the food out first, just so I can get my energy up, my food up, and then the minerals. Because, again, energy powers all the buildings on your planet, all your resources. But to build your resources in the first place, you need to have minerals to build them. So minerals and energy are the 2 main ones. Like, energy is what is the money of this game, and the minerals are your building supplies. Food just keeps your colonists alive. Keeps your colonists growing. And I believe if you've got a negative food balance, you actually get unhappiness. So you can see here this yellow bar is happiness of 55. You want to keep that as high as possible, because the lower the happiness, the more likely these people have to fracture into different factions, and they will try to take over planets. If they can get a high enough rating from the people, they can actually take over parts of your planets, and you'll lose systems to these people. So you want to keep your population happy. You want to keep the factions happy as well, because if you can kind of keep them in line, they won't take your people away, and they will sometimes actually give you bonuses. And again, that was something you'll find out later in the game. Planetary survey. So I don't have any unrest. This is what creates factions. They get unhappy, unrestful, and they try to take over. When you meet an alien race, you might get a faction that starts up that wants to be xenophobes. They don't want alien contact, so that's a faction that might pop up. You'll start building economy, and you'll get a faction that wants to become purely economical. You'll get a faction that might just want to be purely building. I'm not entirely sure, but there are many different factions within the game. I'm assuming with this new update, there'll be even more faction possibilities. Okay, terraform is something we'll look at later with another planet. Okay. I know this isn't really well thought out, but like I said, it's something I'm just starting in. Hopefully when I start to get more videos, I'll get my footing down and start working in a coherent fashion that will just make sense to everyone. I'm sure that when I watch this back, I'll be like, what an idiot, what an idiot. I should have just pre-thought it. But the whole point of this gaming site is I'm new to this. If you're new to it, I'm new to it. We can learn it together. Just basic fundamentals of the game. So once we start playing more, I'll get more into this. So every empire you meet, you'll just get a list of more, and if any factions that break off, will be added in here. Anyone on this list, you can actually fight, include into an empire yourself. So basically, you can get people to join a federation, like the Federation of Star Trek. You can assimilate them, not like Borg in the Star Trek, but you can assimilate them into your culture and just get them to join you through influence. The more happy they are with you, the more likely they are to join your federation or coalition or whatever you want to call it. So here you can also change it. So fallen empires are ancient empires that have gone into hiding, but now that the newer, younger species have come out into space, the fallen empires have reawakened and may be completely warlike or completely peaceful. Now, if you go like Babylon 5 with the shadows, you know, they could be completely evil. I think it's the Vorlon. The Vorlon are the very good ones. You can get that sort of thing. You can get others that just don't want to talk to you. They just want to be left alone. Basically, you just attack them once you got enough power, but that is a late game level of technology. Because basically, they start off with all the technology levels. And they have like one system. But the Fallen Empire system, even though we got this little thing here, they got the influence technology. So they might have a whole ring of planets that is under their control, but they only have one system. Yeah, so there's a lot to get into. If you haven't even started the game, I'm not sure how long this video has gone for because it's not on the timer's not on the screen. But just from this little tiny beginning, from what I know of the game, this is just the beginning, and it's gonna get more and more confusing as we get on with the game. So I'm just gonna save the game here as saving is today. Oh, I can't save it in Iron Man. Oh, okay. Well, it looks like I'll turn that off and then start a new game. Like I said, I haven't played it for over a year. I've always had that turned off because I'm always playing a few minutes here, an hour there, and then have to go and do something. Like, I work full time, so you know, it's work and sleep. You can't play constantly. It takes many hours, probably a full day, if you're gonna play well over a day to finish the game. Either you get wiped out or you wipe them out. But yeah, for beginners, I'd say leave this turned off so that you can actually save the game. So I'm just going to exit to the desktop, and my next video will start. We'll start with a new game with the Iron Man turned off, so we can actually save it. Okay, that's enough for this video. Hopefully it's not too crappy, and we'll see what we can do.